And welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Alan. We are sitting in the TheCopCar, and today I think we're going to tackle this thing. I think it's about time. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you guys, since I'm sitting in here and it's nice and warm here in beautiful sunny Florida, is I see how hard it is to get this cover off. I don't think it's going to be that bad because it's like 1,000,000 degrees out here. Yeah. So there we go. I don't know if you can see that, but there's actually like dirt and dust from the steering wheel slowly starting to dissolve around the edges. It doesn't look that bad, but like when the light hits it just right, you can actually see kind of the weird wear pattern that's going on this thing. It's not as bad as some steering wheels that I've seen, but I mean, you can tell, you know, where this guy held onto the steering wheel the most. I mean, I don't know if you can see that stuff on my fingers, but it's flaking off. So not an enjoyable experience, which is the reason why we picked up the leather wrapped steering wheel. So since I'm not a fan of exploding airbags in my face, I think I should probably disconnect the battery in case I do something stupid to trip a sensor. So battery is disconnected. Now, the way you take the airbag off, back here, these little holes, these cute little holes back here, and basically you got to stick something in this hole and press on a lever, and it'll pop this side, and then over here you'll have basically the same thing. Go in there, you press on that, and then this entire airbag assembly will come out. So let's see what kind of nightmare this is. I don't know if that's quite big enough. It might be too fat. Yep, need something skinnier. Alright, so let's see if we can get this figured out. I'll go ahead and set this thing over here. Maybe you guys will be able to see me. Maybe you won't, but hopefully it'll be reasonable. I don't know if you can see, but this is actually popped away a little bit. I'll try to do the same thing on the other side. Hope that I don't do anything stupid and make myself mad, but we'll see. And as you can see, just pushing those two little things there, got the airbag to come loose. So there you go. You see this whole assembly right here is now loose. So I'll go ahead and pick this up. What you can see is what I'm actually doing is, I don't know if you could see this right here. That's a tooth, and that's a tooth, and it's got a little notch right there. That actually corresponds with down in there. I don't know if you can see that little metal thing inside of there. It actually hooks into that, and when you're pushing through the side hole, you're actually pushing that metal piece to the side. And you just have to push it just enough that it'll pop out. So it's not too hard once you figure out how it works, but it's definitely not something that's super, I guess, intuitive. You know, something you'd look at and go, oh, that's how it works. you know, you'd have to look at a manual or have somebody tell you, and then it makes a whole lot of sense. So basically there's a little clip down here that you just separate, and then these two plungers on the back of the airbag that have to be popped free. Think I might double check the owner's manual, make sure I'm not about to blow this thing up in my face, but yeah, like I said, I've got the battery unhooked, so it shouldn't pop, but I've seen stranger things happen when electricity is applied, you know, the wrong way to stuff. So just a quick note here, manual says up to 10 seconds after the ignition is off and the battery's disconnected, the airbag can still deploy. So it's been more than 10 seconds. I'm assuming that it's not going to blow up in my face. So hopefully there's some sort of vampire in here that drains all the electricity and there's no residual anything. I've talked to some other people that have serviced this kind of stuff before, and they say that yeah, some owner's manuals say you gotta wait like a half hour, or something like that. But like I said, I got the battery unplugged and everything, so just want to be safe. Because y'all know I'm not a mechanic, not even close. If you're watching this video to you know, be taught the proper way to do it, you're on the wrong channel. But if you just want to see how I did it and get some ideas as to what may or may not work, it's okay. Just don't copy anything you see unless you consult your owner's manual, local technician, or somebody who has some kind of certification, because I'm just some guy on YouTube. Seriously. Alright, there's a little clip back here. You can kind of just separate and it pops open. That gives you more room to work with the airbag and or read caution stickers and things. Alright, so what I've done is actually pulled up on these little white tabs. Now what I'm hoping is I can just squeeze this together and get it to release. There we go, got that one a little loose. Guess I can just set this over here and pray that this thing doesn't launch. Maybe I'll point it over here in case it does decide it wants to do something stupid. And voila. So there's two little teeth, one on either side. You gotta release. And then you have this big scary thing that, if pressurized or hit just right way, will explode. So I'm gonna go put this somewhere where if it decides to randomly do something insane, it can launch itself away from me. So there you go, airbag. Should be very clear that I've never messed with an airbag before in my life. I'm a little scared of it, for obvious reasons. So, we got all this stuff, and then now we've got this thing. So it's kind of interesting here, is that, I don't know how well this is going to focus, but there is a little notch right there. I don't know how well, you might be able to see it a little bit. And then there's an arrow. So that arrow and that notch, I guess, are supposed to line up. So I just locked my steering wheel, which is probably a good thing, make it a little bit easier for me to figure out where up and down is. But if I remember right, I think this is a 13/16 bolt, or actually it's a nut. I keep calling everything a bolt, but it's some kind of lock nut that looks like it actually may have seen some better days at one point. But alright, let's see if I can find that. Alright, so what I have here is probably the biggest socket wrench I own, with an extension to kind of get me away from the steering wheel. And then, let's see, there you go. 13/16. I have to thank a guy on YouTube, I don't even remember who he was, but he had a video showing this, and it made it a hell of a lot easier when I got to the junkyard on how to get this thing off of the junk car. It's on there now. All right. There it goes. And as you can see, it's just a little lock nut. And then I have to thank the guy again on YouTube for just telling me that you basically just kind of hit this a little bit and it should just pop free. I might have to go get my hammer, but hey, and there we go, finally. Just had to give it a good tug. So, there we go. A little bit of beating, a little bit of pulling. Got that joker off. Now, when you put the steering wheel on, the electrical stuff goes through this hole right here, you know, right here, and then feeds up here and goes back together. So, and like I said before, you line up that top triangle with the tick mark as best you can so that it's all relatively straight. Push it back on. Now the real truth is this stuff really plug and play? So as you can see, this one has all this extra crap on it, you know, audio controls, you know, all this stuff over here was not on the other steering wheel, but this is the car's plug, I guess the male end, and here's the female end right here. So now we get to see if they go together. Yep, they do fit. But before I put all the electrical stuff back together, I'm going to, let me move that stuff off to the side a little bit. Well, I guess down here, wherever it'll fit. I'm going to put this nut back on, this lock nut. If I can get her to line up, there we go. Trying to get her to line up. So, there we go. Yeah, it looks pretty solid to me. One extra little pull, make sure it doesn't move anymore. Yep, I think that's on. So now, got the steering wheel back on, like I said. They're just lining up that little tick mark with that triangle up there, and they're about as close as I can make them. And oh, this steering wheel feels so much nicer. Let's go get that little death trap airbag thing. So here's the old steering wheel. Nothing wrong with it, it's just old and crusty. So now I'll take this wonderful, wonderful thing. Oh, and bring it back over here. And of course, the plugs and the holes are color coded, so they'll go together nicely. So just basically plug that in, plug that in, and then like I was saying, these little white pieces, clip those back in. And now your airbag's back on. Up top there, we're going to feed the wire back through this thing to lock it in place. I don't have a really good place to put the camera to do that, but you guys will get the idea. Go ahead and click that back on. We're good. I'm going to take that thing and put it back together. Just basically snap it back in. And now these metal things go into that hole and that hole. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but kind of that upper circle and that upper circle. Plug into those two teeth up there. And that completes the steering wheel. Woohoo! So now I guess I can plug the battery back in, fire this bad boy up, and see if I now have radio controls, which kind of neat. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever really use them that much, but kind of neat. Neat to have the option. Looks like I might need to clean the steering wheel up a little bit, but at least it's not crumbling in my hand, you know? So, alright. So there we go, got the terminals reconnected. And let's see what happens when I come over here. Put that over there. No, battery works. There we go. Got the steering wheel in. No crazy lights. Horn works. Let's see what happens when I mess with these. I guess I turn that on. Oh, well, look at that. I don't know if you guys can actually see that with the sun glare there, but buttons work immediately. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, buying a car is not exactly easy. When you're online, there's a ton of information out there. You're flooded with terms like MSRP, invoice, dealer price. It's hard to make sense of what it all means. Well, with True Price from TrueCar.
So I guess as long as you turn the radio on, then these things become useful. This is kind of a station selector. I don't know what that does. Let's see. Nope, nothing there. So turn that on. then I can,
When you're ready to buy.
okay, so that's like a seek feature basically. So I can just hit this and it'll seek the next station, and then this goes through program stations. So anything that's already in the program list works out fine. So there you go. Hopefully I can do this fast enough so I'm not getting caught with some sort of copyright stuff. But there you go. I think that's a hell of an upgrade, man. Nice leather wrap steering wheel. Seems to work real good. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed. That's $15 or whatever that's, I think it was a $15 steering wheel. That looks a hell of a lot better, feels a hell of a lot better, and is going to hold up a heck of a lot longer, and I get the added bonus of audio controls. And then this has this Bluetooth stuff, which is I guess that other mirror that I have, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever use the Bluetooth in here. That, and I kind of like having these little map lights underneath here. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video semi-entertaining. Seeing a guy that has no idea what he's doing, well, I guess a little bit of YouTube knowledge as to what I'm doing. Change the steering wheel on a Chevrolet Impala. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking it out. Let me know your thoughts. I really like this upgrade. Tell me what you guys think. Anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate you stopping by. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell if you want to be notified. Leave a comment. Contact information's in the description. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a little hot out here. My brain stopped working. But love to all of you. I'll see you on the next video.